Good morning, church. And I am happy that you are all here today. We have a wonderful lesson before us. As I mentioned a few Sundays ago, we are going to be focusing on a relatively new series entitled Becoming. And the focus of this series is essentially to cause the body of believers to begin the process of seeing themselves from the perspective of God, right? So we want you as members of the body of Christ to begin to see yourself in a different way. Last week, we focused on the sonship and the daughtership, if you will, of believers and how we are not to take on a slave mentality, but because of Christ and what he did on the cross, he provides for us the opportunity to not just be more than slaves, but to be sons of Christ. This week, I want to take a different tense and talk about the importance of realizing that as believers, our past is important. Our past is equally important as our future because our past fuels the future. The funny thing is, I was talking to my grandmother on the phone. I don't really like talking on the phone, but I like talking to her on the phone. And she's one of my favorite old people, and I love her a lot. And I was talking to her on the phone, and we had just kind of gone through our little agenda of items that we normally talk to. And in the midst of our agenda, we started talking about people who died and who was on the program and who did this. And she said, "Oh yeah, Bishop such and such died, and he and I used to be a bartender together." And I was like, "Wait, you used to be a bartender?" And she was like, "Yeah, I used to be a bartender." So I found that to be very interesting, and I had a lot of questions because how often does somebody's grandmother announce that they used to be a bartender? So what I gathered from that is, first of all, let me just stop and say that had I known that my grandmother was a bartender back in the day, we would have been much closer in our 20s, right? We would have had a lot more in common. So, but through the grace of God, I no longer do that drinking thing, but it illuminated for me the importance of us telling our story and how things of our past can help to illuminate and can help to bring attention to what God has done in our life. All of us have had experiences that were so traumatic and so embarrassing that we don't want other people to know about. For instance, parents might hide certain things from their kids, including infidelity or drug use or poor relationship choices. Politicians go to extremes to hide certain things of their past, whether they be poor decisions in their college years, extramarital affairs, or so on. Everyone has an untold story that could potentially have a reverse impact on the life of another person. So I started thinking, why is it that church people or people who believe in Christ might be positioning themselves to keep secrets? Here's what I came up with. Of course, I called some of my friends, some of you all, some of my Facebook friends, and asked them. And here are the things that I came up with. Here's what people said. Our past is difficult to talk about because it doesn't always align with our current context, our status, or our position. Others said that we think that people would view us differently if they knew our full testimony. Some said we think that we are the only ones that may have participated in certain activities. And then finally, people said the reason why I'm uncomfortable telling about my past is that my past might indict other people. One of the things that I find that we do in our context is we tend to misquote scripture and or hide behind scripture. So I think it's really important for me to highlight a few things. Because I have heard people say, you have probably heard this too, that our sins or what we have done in the past is thrown in the sea of forgetfulness. Well, let's talk about that briefly. The idea might be true, and I want to just share a couple of scriptures. First, Micah 7:19 says, "He will again have compassion on us and will subdue our iniquities. You will cast all of our sins into the depth of the sea." Isaiah 1:18 says, and God will make our scarlet sins white as wool. And Psalm 103:12 says the similar thing, but it says that as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions for us. And so I started thinking, if he subdues our iniquity and he makes our sin, our lives white as wool, and he separates our transgressions, why is it that we don't get to forget them too? Because honestly, a lot of us, if we had it our way, we would want our past to be forgotten, right? We wanted, there's some things that we're not proud of that we want to get rid of. Why do they still exist? The thing that I think is important, especially as we go through this series, is that his forgiveness of our sin does not separate us from the experience. It means that we are no longer prisoners to what we did. He frees us from condemnation so that we can use the truth of our experience to save someone else. Let's look at Romans, the 8th chapter. Romans, the 8th chapter, in the first verse confirms this. It says, there is therefore no condemnation to them that are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. And essentially what that is saying is that we have experiences, and even though they linger on with us, we are no longer prisoners to them. We are no longer to be condemned. No one can hold us accountable for them because Christ has forgiven us. Now, I want to introduce my text. Our text focuses on the experience of Paul. Paul, as you know, is responsible or is said to be responsible for 13 of the 27 books of the New Testament. And that's important to know. In particular, he is the author of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, the book of 1 Corinthians can really be broken into 7 parts. And one of those parts is the doctrine of resurrection. In the doctrine of resurrection, Paul begins to share of his experience. And let me read with you to you what he shares in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and I'll start at the 8th verse. And he says, at last of all he was seen of me, also as one born at a due time. Verse 9, for I am the least of the apostles, that am not meet to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God. Verse 10, but by the grace of God, I am what I am. And his grace, which was bestowed upon me, was not in vain, but I labor more abundantly than they all, yet but the grace of God, which was with me. So Paul is essentially saying 3 things that I want to bring to your attention about our past being a tool that we can use for the kingdom of God. The first thing that Paul wants to bring to our attention is that our past is alive and well in our lives to keep us humble. He reminds the Corinthian church that he was guilty of persecuting the saints, which made him least of the apostles. Now, I think it's important to note that he was not saying that he was some secondary apostle in God's eyes. What he was saying was that his past disqualified him for the perception of perfection. So he was saying, I want to separate myself from this idea that I'm perfect. He also was saying that I wasn't groomed in the same way that perhaps some of the other apostles were. I had a long road to the place that I have arrived so far. And also, it would have been disingenuous for him to act pious and sedity and as though he had not been guilty of making it very difficult for believers to exist. So Paul is not a stranger, or Paul is not interested in giving away the impression that he is an apostle of perfection. He wants to start off this discussion about the power of the resurrection by saying that he himself is a product of God's power through Jesus Christ. Secondly, I want to let you know that your past will position you to walk in greater purpose. Even though Paul had been persecutor of the body of Christ, he played a very important role, and it was because of his past that doors were opened in his life to minister. One of the fallacies in our narrative around Paul is that he was a persecutor of the saints, and he was this crazy guy. One day he got knocked off the horse in the Damascus Road, and when he got knocked off the horse in the Damascus Road, he woke up one day, and he was no longer Saul, he became Paul. But if you look at the scripture never actually says that through his conversion, his name changed. And I want to point that out because Paul and Saul's name is very important to his context. Because to those who were Hebrews, like Paul, like Saul, they knew him for that name, but those whom he was trying to preach to the Gentiles, they knew him as Paul. So even the meticulous and detail-oriented Luke, when he writes the chapter, he also knows that his name is not just Paul, but it was also Saul, because it was common in those days to have two names. I want to point that out because I think that is important. So the Hebrews knew him as Saul, the Gentiles knew him as Paul. That is important because Paul's identity is layered with a number of different things. So he is from Rome, but he was raised as an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. He is skilled and knowledgeable in the Torah. He was previously a politician. So he has all these identities that are important to his context. Now, he says something that I think is very important in 1 Corinthians 9:19-24, that I think that we can make some connections with. He says, "For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself a servant unto all, not that I might gain more. And unto the Jews I became a Jew, that I might gain the Jews. And to them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law. To them that are without the law, as without the law, that I might gain them which are without the law. To the weak became I weak, that I might gain the weak. I made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some." What Paul is saying in this particular text is that he yielded to his past to be able to have the greatest amount of impact on those that he would encounter in his ministry. So he became weak because he knew of weakness. He became vulnerable to the people that needed a vulnerable leader, and not for his own self-aggrandizement, but he became that for the purpose of bringing a soul to Christ. I am more than just Paul, the apostle, because God allowed me to have these experiences so that I can meet people where they are. So Paul is essentially saying that because of my past, because of the humility, because of the circumstances for which I am here, God has given me this extraordinary ability to meet people where they are. So your past will position you to walk in greater purpose. The other thing that I think is important is that your past will propel you your past will allow you to propel the body of Christ. As a person committed to the life of young adults in our church and to the lives of youth, I will submit to you. Just like I was able to make that connection with my grandmother, and I was able to learn from her about the experiences that she had as a young person. It was through those experiences that we were able to bond, because I was able to see that I was not alone in my early walk with Christ, and that she had experienced some things that were very similar. And what Paul is saying is that he uses his testimony, he uses his past as a building block to share the goodness of Jesus, the gospel of Christ, to others. The thing that I love about verse 10 in this text, and I'm almost done. The thing that I love about verse 10 in this text is that it begins with a conjunction, the conjunction but. And usually a conjunction means that there's something that's coming after a certain subject to change the context of what it says. I love that the scripture tells us that Paul said I was the least of the apostles, but because of God's grace, because of God's mercy, because he decided to change me, I therefore equipped to walk into the future with my past in tow in order to reach those that need to know Christ Jesus. So I would offer to you today that even though your past is not bright and shiny and full of perfection, even though you might not be proud of all the things that you have done and all the things that you have said, you can trust that God did not give you those experiences for now. He did not allow you to experience that so that you can sit in shame. Once He freed you, once He saved you, He tells you that you are no longer condemned by those things. And since you are no longer condemned by those things, you can use the things that you've done to say, I used to be this, but I'm just like Paul. By the grace of God, I am what I am. And I'm taking who I am into every situation that I have so that I might draw. And I love when Paul says in the 9th chapter, as I read earlier, that I might not be able to reach everybody. But through the spirit of transparency, through being able to tell of my experience and the conversion of Christ in my life, I can be Paul and Saul and Greek and Jew and Greek. I can be all these things. So that through my being those things, through my representing these layers of identity, I might be able to draw all to Christ. Everyone standing, let's pray. Father, we pray that those who have heard what we have had to say will be inspired by your word, that you love us and that you have not given us the spirit of fear, but you have given us the power, and you have given our past as a testimony to your great grace. We thank you and we love you in Jesus' name. Amen.